Warren, Albert, Daggett. Larson, Michael, Cedar River. St. Ange, Thomas, Hermansville. Alfredson, William, Menominee. Beeble, Wayne, Menominee. Johnson, Wayne, Menominee. Nolde, Williams, Menominee. Phelps, Ronald, Menominee. Rich, John, Menominee. Stieglitz, Dennis, Stevenson. Kleipel, David, Daggett. Ontonagon County. Beck, Glenn, Ray, Ontonagon. Binder, Quinton, Wayne, Bruce Crossing. Eggstead, John, Milton, Bruce Crossing. Garrick, Jerry, Arthur, Trout Creek. Lundberg, William, Raymond, Ontonagon. Pierpont, William, McGregor, White Pine. Skinner, Ernest, Mac, Ontonagon. Samaro, Kenneth, Edwin, Greenland. Schoolcraft County. Jenks, Joseph William, Manistique. Tiglis, Thomas Lee, Manistique. In our missing in action, Seablum, Earl Francis, Ishmi. Fenley, Francis James, Curtis.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice. Allard, Richard, Michael, Chesaning, Michigan. Anderson, Warren, Leroy, Camden, Michigan. Austin, Ellis, Ernest, Vermontville, Michigan. Beckwith, Harry, Medford III, Flint, Michigan. Bolts, Bruce, Edward, Flint, Michigan. Buckley, Lewis Jr., Detroit, Michigan. Burgess, John Lawrence, Kingsley, Michigan. Carol Patrick Henry, Allen Park, Michigan. Chapman, Rodney Max, Alpena, Michigan. Klein, Curtis, Roy, Burlington, Michigan. Crossman, Gregory John, Sturgis, Michigan. Kudlike, Charles Joseph, Detroit, Michigan. Daly, Douglas Vincent, Waterford, Michigan. Denny James Eugene, Mattawan, Michigan. Dix Craig Mitchell, Livonia, Michigan. Di Melvin C., Carlton, Michigan. Fenley Francis James Curtis, Michigan. Gauthier Dennis L., Rochester, Michigan. Green Larry Edward, Mount Morris, Michigan. Grayling David Scott, Hillsdale, Michigan. Growth Wade L., Greenville, Michigan. Hill Robert L., Detroit, Michigan. Holman Gerald Allen, Northville, Michigan. Jarvis Jeremy M., Warren, Michigan. Jerome Stanley Milton, Detroit, Michigan. Johnson Bruce G., Harbor Beach, Michigan. King Donald L., Muskegon, Michigan. Capina Marshall F., Calumet, Michigan. Climo James Robert, Muskegon, Michigan. Klug Joseph Russell, Okemos, Michigan. Cool James Willard, Fruitport, Michigan. Leonard Marvin Maurice, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Marvin Robert Clarence, Dexter, Michigan. Machusi Martin J., Royal Oak, Michigan. May Michael Frederick, Vassar, Michigan. Nelson James R., Ludington, Michigan. Paul James Lee, Riverview, Michigan. Perry Otha Lee, Detroit, Michigan. Riggs Thomas F., Farmington, Michigan. Roberts Richard D., Lansing, Michigan. Seablom Earl Francis, Ishpeming, Michigan. Stroven William Harry, Fremont, Michigan. Strufbergen Jean Paul, Augusta, Michigan. Tromp William Leslie, Fenville, Michigan. Tusi Robert L., Detroit, Michigan. Tyler George E., Royal Oak, Michigan. Walker Kenneth Earl, Lansing, Michigan. Wallace Michael J., Ann Arbor, Michigan. Welch Robert J., Detroit, Michigan. Woloskix Donald J., Alpena, Michigan. Worcester John B., Big Rapids, Michigan. Wozniak Frederick J., Alpena, Michigan. Wright Arthur, Lansing, Michigan.
I'm with Pam Weber and Paul Walker, two people that were very influential in bringing the moving wall to Manistique, Michigan. Now guys, let's walk and talk, if you would. Where did the idea come from? Who came up with this? Was this something that John got a hold of us? Or, do you recall, Pam?
No, I was at a meeting for the Forgotten Eagles, and the moving wall came up during that. I had never heard about the moving wall before. And when it was talked about at that meeting, just something just clicked in my mind and my heart, and I said, we've got to bring this wall to Manistique. We've got to.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't let go of the idea.
Well, I've got to tell you, in hearing about it the first time, I really didn't even know what it was. And then I found out that, hey, they have a 50% replica of the Vietnam War Monument in Washington. I was astounded. I hadn't even ever heard of it. And honestly, and I'll be frank, you started selling little like vouchers for people that wanted to bring the wall to Manistique.
It was the thing came in the sponsor's handbook, and it had the dates on it of this, and then it had honor and stuff on it. And I implemented the Manistique dates on it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I kind of took it around to businesses and called it Buy a Buck and helped bring the wall to Manistique.
Sure. You know what's interesting is, when I saw that, I said, "There's no way we're going to raise enough money to bring this wall." But it's amazing the Manistique people really kicked in.
Oh, absolutely. And not only just the people, there was a lot of businesses that were involved in this. I took form letters and to the townships, to different places here in town. I went to foundations and wrote letters, and people really came through.
And they did, and you came through too, Pam. How did you get involved, Paul?
Well, there was a notice in an advisor asking folks that wanted to volunteer to show up to VFW on a Sunday, April, I don't recall a specific date. However, I wasn't very well that day, so my grandmother went, and I asked her to volunteer me. And subsequently, very shortly thereafter, I received a phone call asking me if I would involve myself in the media part of it, and also the internet, and some of my computer skills that isn't, a lot, but nonetheless enough to navigate what I needed to do. And Pam asked me to come on board, and without reservation, and I immediately said I was honored and privileged to do so.
Well, I've been impressed, especially because I got on board so late, as to how much work you guys had already done. Now, this wasn't an easy project, and we've had some unbelievable help here.
Yes.
I have been so impressed with the volunteer staff. And how many people do you feel total, just an estimate, of people in the Manistique community have contributed in some way?
I would say the
All
whole
of them?
community.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them.
In some capacity, everybody's brought something to the table. Everybody, from our city officials, our local police force, the Manistique State Police, all the way down to the average citizen. Nobody we've ever heard before. Faces I've never seen before, names I've never heard before. They all stepped up, and without reservation. And they said, what can we do to help you? What can we do to make this a success? and we just simply got our committee members together. We formed the different areas that we needed people in, and people have strengths and weaknesses, and they told us what their strengths were, and so that we put them in with those certain committees, and then we just continue to move forward with the process of bringing the wall here.
Well, it's an awesome spectacle, and it's a wonderful tribute to the Vietnam vets. What I found particularly moving in the ceremonies that occurred and what happened is the support we've had from Korean War vets, from the World War II vets.
Absolutely.
And it's basically it was a total, and I believe that Mr. Lukashevitz said this best. He said, "We're all brothers,"
That's right.
and they all did it for us.
And I may interject that we're all brothers and sisters.
True, true. Now we're standing right down here. I believe this is, well, this is a different young man, but we're moving down closer to the Manistique, our Manistique fallen. Is it right here?
There's Joe Jenks.
Joe Jenks.
And Mr. Tiglis.
And Mr. Tiglis is right there. And Manistique, our Manistique boys, and I have seen a number of people come through and stop at this spot. And you know what's interesting, and this happens all the time at the Washington Monument, the gifts and the regular pictures and that type of thing that are set at the base of the wall. And it's, in fact, I believe it was Pastor Don Bedwell who was running security the first night, and he said he cried 3 times, people on their knees. And that is part of the reason that we brought it in. As your shirt says, you are not forgotten. The price of freedom is written on the wall.
Right. And there's a saying that really grabbed me by the heart when Paul, he searches a lot in the internet, and the saying said, a man is not forgotten unless he's forgotten.
No, actually,
Or what does it
the
say?
man is not dead until he's
A
forgotten.
man is not dead unless he's forgotten.
And these guys will never be
And they'll never be
forgotten.
dead as long as
Not in
we
this
remember.
community.
Yeah.
Not in this community.
Well, my hat is off to you two for your hard volunteerism and your work in bringing this beautiful monument to Manistique. So,
Yeah. I would just like to say a few of the experiences I had here in the last 4 days is Friday, Mother Nature didn't cooperate as well, but I think it was a blessing in disguise in some ways, because we always try to look at the glass as half full. But nonetheless, when it was raining and there was a lady at the wall, and she looked at me and she said, "Look, the wall is crying." That really moved me.
yeah.
And then another gentleman approached me, and he came up, and I was wearing my shirt, and it said chairman. So I think he wanted to identify with me some of the things that he wanted to say. But they said to me, when you walk up to the wall and you touch a name, such as Mr. Jenks or any of them, when you touch that wall and your reflection, and you touch that name and your reflection is looking back at you, that's your connection to that person, our fallen brother or sister. That moved me.
And there was, during the rain, I have to, make this statement. During that rainstorm, I'm gonna cry, the 3 men that stood guard didn't leave.
Didn't leave their posts. Absolutely true. And yeah, in fact, I talked to one of them, and he said the guys up on this wall deserve that. And God bless them. God bless you guys for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.